Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Totalbiscuit. I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Planet Under Attack? This is by a company called Targem. Targem are responsible for the rather curious chess title, Check vs. Mate, which was called Battle vs. Chess until they got into a legal problem as a result of that. Oh, I can't imagine how that happened. They also created Insane 2 and Clutch, and are now making what I would call a swarm defense game. What is a swarm defense game? Well, if you've ever played Galcon, you probably know what that's all about. Or if you played Oil Rush, which is a game that has been featured on this channel. It's the idea of a very light kind of strategy game where you hurl a large number of ships at a certain point on the map. You can't move your units around the map wherever you like. You've got to send them from one planet to another in this case. Galcon was probably the game that popularized this particular genre, or subgenre of strategy if you like to call it that. And it's been trundling along ever since with various games such as Oil Rush and a wide variety of iOS titles and a few PC releases along the way. So the question is Planet Under Attack any good? We shall find out. First things first, let's have a look at the options menu. It actually has 3D, which is a really weird choice for a game like this. AA available, full screen, on and off, aspect ratio and resolution is about it. No other customization options there, so a little bit of a poor showing. And then, again, 3D. Why? What is the point? It's a 3D swarm defense game. How does that benefit the game? How does that make it look better? Does it give you any kind of gameplay benefit? It doesn't. So for the three of you that are using 3D on a PC, well, I guess that's an option for you. Audio options all good, and game options, as you can see. Vibration. Why? I don't even know. And this game is controlled with a mouse. You can do it with a controller as well. Apparently it is actually possible to do offline multiplayer, 4 players on the same machine, which will involve a lot of controllers, I guess. Online multiplayer is also available, and you've got a skirmish mode, which is always nice to see, and a campaign, which for the most part serves as a tutorial. So let's jump into the campaign. I've done a few missions of this because I like to go through the tutorials first before I actually show you the game. So you start as these guys, the something, I can't even remember, it's so generic. It's like the Humanity Inc., I think, is the name of it, and the other faction is Robots 2.0, who are very similar for the most part. Now, the campaign mode works in such a way as you can kind of fly around a little spaceship here, picking stars, assuming that you've actually unlocked everything prior to that. You can also unlock some optional missions, challenge missions, which you need to earn stars in order to do. You get stars by completing the previous missions on higher difficulty levels, which have different objectives. They don't actually seem to be all that much harder in and of themselves. They're just a little bit more tedious. By tedious, I mean they're objectives which are illogical. They get in the way of actually playing the game well. I can stomp a level, for instance, on medium or hard, and what will happen is I won't get the medium or hard objectives because I had to hang around waiting for more of my ships to die or for more enemy ships to be killed while I'm on the defensive. But it's like, but I don't need to be on the defensive because I'm completely crushing this guy, so I don't get the reward for that. I hate that in games. If you're going to make optional objectives, then make them reasonable, make them make sense. If you're playing well, you should be able to get those objectives. I shouldn't have to slow myself down or play deliberately badly in order to achieve them. That's ridiculous. Okay, so let's head on to this mission and show you what's going on here. You can choose from various techs. Now, these are unlocked as you gain levels. They're basically all passive bonuses. They're not particularly interesting, and you can select one from each row once you've actually got them unlocked. Alright. We shall play on medium, I think, and I can show you one of the optionals. Hopefully, this one will be good. And some of them are okay, and some of them aren't. Some of them are reasonable, some of them are just downright silly. You see, this makes sense. Win less than or equal to 11 minutes. Alright, that's fine. That's something I can definitely go for. That's a good objective. But there was another one where it's like, you have to destroy 20 ships while on the defensive, which involves the enemy actually being able to attack you before you crush them, which wasn't happening in my game.
Look at the upper left corner of the screen. This is the wealth meter. Higher wealth will greatly benefit your armies, making them stronger and faster. As your money vault fills up, you'll get a bonus to attack and defense. However, each planet you have increases the maximum amount of money needed, making the bonus harder to reach. Do not spend all of your money on an attack. It will deplete your wealth meter and lower the performance of your ships.
There you go, so there's the tutorial message. So, the wealth meter system and the robot's charge system, which is very similar, are designed, I suppose, to even things out if you happen to be in an awkward spot where your empire is too small in comparison to the enemies, so you don't get completely steamrolled as a result. You can do more powerful attacks because you're able to get your meter up to maximum. Alright, so we've grabbed 2 of these. Now, there are a couple of different planet types. There's Metropolis types, which are these ones. They seem to build the most ships and generate a reasonable amount of income. These are space fortresses. They actually fire on incoming ships. They don't do a huge amount of damage. They kind of pick away at them. And last, but by no means least, there are banking planets or power plants, which you can't actually see this time around because they are not in this particular level. They are more advanced, apparently. There we go. We can grab that. Okay, so I'm gonna reinforce this area here. So as you can see, it's called swarm defense for a reason. Swarm defenses involve a lot of different units moving from set point to set point, and usually it's a case of mathematics as to who wins battles. If you have more ships than your enemy, usually you win, but there are a couple of different passives that change that, passive bonuses as you saw earlier, as well as the idea that if you happen to have upgraded your planets like that, then your defense will be better. So I'm just currently sitting here waiting for this guy to attack me, and he has a fairly large number of ships in comparison to mine, a ridiculous number, in fact. I'm quite surprised he managed to build up so many. Now, this is a capture game type, so if I were to grab this one, then, you know, I'd be in a pretty good state, but unfortunately, that's not really an option at the moment because his fleet is like twice the size of mine. As you can see, my money vault is much higher. It actually costs money to send ships as well. So if I want to send a bunch of ships over in this direction, then I can do that. But it's going to cost me quite a bit in order to do it. And while I'm attacking, I don't have the ability to generate any revenue unless I have banking planets, which are not in this particular mode. I have a feeling I'm going to lose this because, quite frankly, he's got like 3 times the ships I have, and I have no idea how he even pulled it off. It's just... I don't even know. How does he have so many ships? It's kind of crazy. So, let us try that one again, shall we? I think I'll probably just take smaller numbers of planets initially, because I don't think it actually benefits me all that much. Okay, I might go capture this one. There we go. Just send a small number of ships over there. Now, he's barely got any ships at the moment, so it would kind of make sense to rush in this direction, but the neutral space fortresses are designed to stop you from doing that, because they're going to do damage to your ships as you go past. Now, I could take that directly off him. Now, see, I've got 3 times as many ships as he had that time around. Again, I just don't even understand how he had so many ships in the first place. It just seems crazy. There we go, I now have that one. Space fortress in the middle is kind of nuking me here. Now I could upgrade this. There we go. And I'll pop an upgrade on that as well. Now one assumes that that would increase your ship generation. As far as I can tell, that's half the point of upgrading in the first place. Alright, so I lost that. I think I lost the money from the upgrade as well. That was a bit of a pain in the ass, wasn't it? Indeed it was. So now he's generating more ships than I am. Let's grab some more. Here we go. Bloody space fortress in the middle is proving to be a complete pain in the arse. I want to actually move some ships over in this direction as well. Now, I have a real problem with this genre of games, and the fact that I just find them flat out boring. Incredibly dull. And I just don't see the appeal. Which is always a problem for me. If I have issues seeing the appeal in a game, then it's really hard to be objective. It's like saying, well, some people might find this enjoyable, and then you've got to explain why. Why would anyone find this game enjoyable? And it's really hard to actually come up with a decent reason. And aesthetically, it's really nothing special. The only thing it's got going for it on the character side of things is the fact that you see that interesting character with the British accent and the top hat, and it's like, all right, okay, cool. It's a little bit quirky. It's got a couple of interesting characters in it, but the storyline is not exactly what you should really be paying attention to in a game like this, and rightfully so, because that's not really what it's all about. Oh yeah, and if I don't take that planet in the middle, I'm actually going to lose this game, so let's pile some ships on there right now. There we go. Bloody space fortress over there, proving to be somewhat annoying. And I have no cash to attack in that direction either. Send reinforcements to the center, which will hopefully be enough ships to deflect what he's sending in my direction. Yeah, if he captures this, I actually lose, so I have to stop him right now. Get in there. Go on, then. Okay. Excellent. I actually do have that. We might just try and wait for the wealth to get higher. He's upgraded. Let's get him upgraded as well. It's just really, really boring. I have difficulty enjoying it. I think that Oil Rush that I played previously is more enjoyable than this game, and I think that's mostly because Oil Rush actually has more units. There just aren't any units in this game. It's just ships. Ships, 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 ships. That's all it sends, and they're all very, very generic, and they do damage based on passive bonuses that are very much under the hood. Which, to me, is not good gameplay. It's not particularly strategic. Sure, you can get some moves every now and again that seem like, oh, you know, that was a sneaky thing to do, that was a little bit strategic, that's fine, but I don't view it as a particularly good strategy title overall. There we go, let's grab that. Excellent. Ooh. Nope, it's closed, it's closed. I really should just nuke this bloody planet, so stop shooting at my ships. There we go. That should do the trick. The technologies don't really seem to add a huge amount to the game other than passive bonuses. At least they vary things up a little bit, but I don't find that to be a particularly impressive amount of variety. The core gameplay remains identical, and the core gameplay is woefully simplistic. And that is the case with many of these swarm defense games. This is why I feel they're more suited to tablet devices where it's like, hey, you drag to here, you drag to here. That's a nice interface choice. Here, it doesn't really excite me in any way. I don't see the appeal of it. And now, at least I'm actually going to win this now. I'm just going to pile the remainder of my ships onto there, then take the capture point, and then that should be a win, I think. Assuming that he doesn't screw me over. Since reinforcement ships in that direction. It's a weird aesthetic as well. I mean, just in general, the way that the graphics are designed, the way the music's designed, very relaxing. Which is odd because it's actually a game about genocide. It is about wiping out planets. The number of ships you throw away is massive. So many people lose their lives every second of this game, and yet it seems like the entire game is trying to be all zen, which works for Euphoria, which is also quite a similar concept to this game, but it definitely doesn't work in this case. If I'm going to play a space-based game, I expect really cool tech, I expect different kinds of ships, and I don't get any of that. There are no different kinds of ships. The tech is very limited. It's all about passive bonuses. And the general strategy is incredibly limited as well. Even the space fortresses, which sound exciting, are really just very dull emplacements that just zap every couple of seconds at ships coming in. It's not what I would call an epic battle, is it? And I know that they're not looking for an epic battle, but really, this is not a genre that appeals to me, because I expect just a little bit more depth. Now, those of you who've played a game like this for a great deal of time might argue that there is depth there. And yeah, if you were to do a skirmish and you were to have all of the options enabled, yeah, it's got more depth than the campaign does, certainly. It's got a couple of different options here. It's got elimination, which will just wipe them out. Capture, which is what I just showed you. Capture 3 specific points. Domination, hold specific points for a period of time. And King of the Hill, which is hold 1 point for a period of time. Unbroken. Alright. I'm going to do any 2-player map here. It goes up to 4. So I think we'll maybe do domination, I suppose. Humanity Inc. or robots. We can have the other guys do robots, I suppose, on AI. There we go. You can be robots. You can... Whoa. It didn't let me choose my techs. I guess I probably just got them there by default anyway. Alright, so as you can see, this level is just a little bit more complicated. First things first, we're going to take that planet in the center there, so at least I can start building up some income. Now, I can change the nature of the planet here. That could become a space fortress, or it could become a banking planet. Might actually throw the one in the center over to be a banking planet. I need to start saving up some cash and saving up some ships as well, otherwise these guys are going to absolutely crush me. Now, as much as I'd like to say that the robots play very differently, they kind of don't. The charge bar is very similar to the wealth bar. They use power, and they utilize population on planets rather than actual cash, and really there's not a huge amount of difference there. There's a little bit, but not a huge amount. I'll go fight him in the center here and grab that, because why not? Ooh, he's going to send a few more in. Do I want to defend that? No, he's throwing an awful lot at it, and he's losing money while he's attacking as well. So I'd rather just stay defending, and then I'll maybe go grab this neutral planet in the process. This one's actually quite weak now, so let's send a few in there. Okay, so we can grab that back. Banking planet is completely undefended, but it is at least earning me some cash. And I've lost it. We'll get it back in a second. That's now a power plant for him. I'm thinking maybe in the center we go with a space fortress. And there we go. So we can have our power plant planet back. Now, I have to wonder if that actually does the same. Yeah, it does. It just does the same when you grab it back. So I guess it does become a banking planet at that point. A couple of other criticisms I've got. This game has a really busy graphic style. It's difficult to see what's going on. If you look at the way that the planets are arranged, they often pass over each other. It's not a logical way to set the map out. It's not top-down. Everything kind of mushes together, and as a result, you have difficulty figuring out clearly who owns what, where everything is. You can pay attention to the numbers at the top and the colors, of course, but it's just really messy. It's chaotic, and I don't really like the design as a result of that. Let's get some upgrades going. Okay, that is already a banking planet. That's already a level 3 metropolis, so that's not going to help too much. I would like to oh god, I'd like to take that back. I actually have a number of ships, and I'm also maximum wealth, so I'm going to go in there and do some damage. Now, this game does have multiplayer, and I did play a bit of it. It's, it's fine. There's nothing particularly special about it. It is just your straight-up multiplayer experience, and that is assuming you can find people that are actually interested enough in this kind of game to play it, and all I can safely say that I am not one of them. This game doesn't really have an awful lot going for it, in my opinion. If you are into swarm defense, it does have a decent amount of content once you drag yourself through the long tutorial campaign and actually allow it to unlock the features. It does have skirmish mode, and it does have this leveling system, which allow you to unlock different technologies. But the core gameplay, to me, is very, very dull and very, very simplistic. So I don't think this is going to be a game that I'm going to spend a huge amount of time on, and it's certainly not a game that I would recommend to anyone really on PC. So there you go, folks, a look at Planets Under Attack. In my opinion, a sadly disappointing swarm defense game, and I can add it to the ball of swarm defenses that I just don't like. I don't like what the genre represents. It's a really simplistic, dumbed-down mixture of tower defense and RTS that doesn't seem to do either particularly well, and has an extremely limited appeal. This game is available. The price is on the screen right now for Steam. It's also available on Gamersgate if you wish to pick it up from an alternative source. It's currently 33% off. Please make note of how much of a rip-off it is in the UK, almost 40% more expensive and 30% more expensive in Europe. So not so good for either group as far as I'm concerned. But if you're into swarm defense, then you've probably figured out by the video whether or not you actually want to play it. If you're not, this is not the game to start on. My name has been Totalbiscuit, taking a look at Planets Under Attack. I'll see you next time.